Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics on Random. Egberto, Willies, your host. Thank you so kind for being part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. Today, I'm going to start the program. First of all, welcome aboard, Alisarin Dreams from Summerwood. And I remember this time we have Yvette Avery Herod from Atlanta, Georgia, Eric Hayes from Para ver dónde está, Atascocita, Kingwood, Billy Allison Irwin as well. Summerwood as well, right? Same. We also have in the house Michael Rudden from Brooklyn, New York. We have, and those are the ones that are registered so far. I know that more are going to be coming. Fill her up. Let's see. And on all of my Substacks, how are you guys doing? I trust you guys are all doing fine, folks. We're going to have a great show for you today. Anyway, Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain is also in here with us. All right, folks, earlier this morning, I played the pep talk that I gave to the Kingwood area Democrats, a short version, and that was really choppy. But I have a fuller version that I want to play here since this is a show that we can do this on. But before I get there, let's see. Michael Rodden says, think energy media. China is building a super grid, and so should we. One of the biggest barriers to building a super grid will cost. Limiting global warming to 1.8 C above pre-industrial levels will require approximately 3.1 trillion of grid infrastructure investment by 2030. For every investment dollar spent, approximately $1.60 to $1.80 will be saved. Futurism. Oh, government lawyer horrified as Musk grants nuclear access to Dodge boy. He is not clear to be in DOE on our system. 22-year-old Doge staffer Luke Favor was granted access to the Department of Energy IT system used by the National Nuclear Security, who safeguard U.S. nuclear weapons, despite protests and NSA's General Counsel. That's shameful. CNN, bodies of all 10 victims of Alaska plane crash have been recovered and ID. The wreckage is currently resting on sea ice that the officials describe as young and unstable, and heavy snow and winds in the area. The bodies were the first to be recovered. Then the plane will be taken for further analysis. I want to say again, this is the 5th airline crash in the last 10 days. DC, Philly, Houston, Seattle, Alaska. 3 out of 5 have fatalities. Accidents happen when you remove the safety from your industry. Absolutely so. Blame Trump. Remember that? Blame Trump. Blame Trump. Joe from LA is in the house as well. How you doing, our beautiful Joe? Beautiful. All our beautiful ladies are in the house, and our handsome men are in the house. All right. Let's see where we start. I tell you what, let me go ahead and start that right away. This is a different version than what I played this morning. It's a more complete, so I'll play it, and then we'll come back with a few other stuff to talk about, important stuff to talk about. Here we go.
I want to thank Ellie for inviting me over to speak. And the truth of the matter is, I had something to talk about, and I changed it just as soon as I got here, because I said, what we really want is a positive message, right? Everybody's right now kind of feeling bad. We lost the election and all that good stuff. We didn't lose the election. We lost the people. That's how I look at it. Most Americans are progressive. Yes. I want you to keep that in your head. Yes. Most Americans are progressive. Our MAGA friends, our MAGA brothers and sisters, and they don't like that, or MAGA brothers and sisters, they are progressive. You go ahead and you start asking questions and you find out, guess what? These people are just like me. I know it's hard for us to accept that, but I try to talk to just about everybody. And when I get folks singularly separated from their group, the one thing I realize is that all of us basically, except for certain key issues, we pretty much think alike. I was on the radio talking about Donald Trump for a long time, right? And I also spoke a whole lot about how big this election was going to be. And guess what else I said? We are going to win this election big. Democrats were going to win this election big. I made bets on it. I betted on winning this election big. And the truth of the matter is, that the problem that I had is I completely misunderstood what the population really looked like. I live in Kingwood. First of all, I'm looking at this place in Kingwood, right? This looks like America. We have all kind of folk in here. All kind of folk in here, right? But I want to say something to my white brothers and sisters, first of all. This is important. How the hell do you do it in Kingwood? How do you do it in Kingwood? That means you are special. To go against peer pressure, living in a place like Kingwood, you guys around here are special folks. That's the first thing I want to say. I want to put out there. Because it is not easy being able to say, I want to jump on the bandwagon that is more comfortable for me to jump on. And I'm looking around, and he didn't do it. I want to tell you a little story. My daughter had 2 strokes in the last 3 or 4 years. It was difficult. It was the worst time of my life. The last 5 years were horrendous. Taking care of her and bringing her back, all that good stuff. Then, this is the first Christmas that we could sit down. We normally have a whole bunch of folks over for Christmas. This time we had 9 people. 9 people over for Christmas. It was 4.5 immigrants and 3.5 Americans. I figured by now you can figure that Ashley is a half. But it's interesting because we started talking and politics came up. Of course, Trump had already won. And I'm talking to my Jamaican brother, my Panamanian brother, and all these other folks. And we were talking politics, and Ashley out of the blue, she kind of says things out of the blue a lot sometimes, you know.
Go Ashley. And
she says, I don't know why you immigrants have so much faith in America. And then I looked at her and she repeated it again. Why do you all have so much faith in America? She's a millennial. We're all grown. She's a millennial. So I looked at Norman, my buddy from Jamaica, and I said, she doesn't get it. We came over here based on what America said it is. She knows or what it is supposed to be. She knows she's lived America her life. So I came back and I said to her, let me tell you one thing though. Those of us who came over here from Panama, Jamaica, Costa Rica, or wherever we came from, we came over here knowing that it wasn't going to be easy, and whatever it is, we were kind of like stuck here, you know? And therefore, for us, it's not about just throwing our hands up in the air. It's actually making America live up to who America says it is. Make sure it lives up to who America says it is. What does that really mean? That means actively participating in the American dream. That's what it means. It means never giving up. My daughter was right in her belief, but she was wrong in moving forward. You have to stay in the game. And that's what we do. More so, a lot of us come over here and get it done. Why did Kamala Harris lose? Why do you think she lost? What else?
She had 3 things against her: black, woman, and progressive.
Right. Okay. Remember a woman called Hillary Clinton?
Yes.
Remember a guy called Barack Obama?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me tell you a little story. I remember when Barack just came out. And Barack went to all the universities in Texas. TSO, that's what it used to be called, Texas State University. Remember, it wasn't called what it is now. University of Texas and all these universities. And all these folks from Kingwood, the kids came home And they brought Obama's book, and they talked about this guy named Obama, this black dude named Obama. They brought him, and in Kingwood, I started going to all these people's homes in Kingwood. I was first a Hillary Clinton supporter before I was a Barack Obama supporter. I never thought Barack Obama had a chance in hell. Okay? I was a Hillary Clinton supporter. And I remember after Brother Clinton said something that pissed me off, I then moved on to Obama. But then, in Kingwood, you had all these Republicans in Kingwood having parties for Obama. Yes. And I went to a lot of Republican homes having parties for Kingwood. And I remember going home to my wife one time and I said, this stuff scares me. This can't last. How can this guy in Republican land be doing the way he's doing? And she said, well, you never know, maybe things have really changed. I wasn't buying into the change quite yet. So the election went on, and by the time he won the primary and he was going against it, he was McCain, and they were doing canvassing all over the country. And I remember, I still didn't think, even though I was supporting him, I didn't think, well, he's going to win against this guy. They were canvassing in Pennsylvania. And they walked up to this home in Pennsylvania, and they asked the woman who was at the door, who are you voting for? Okay? The woman turned around to her husband. Women, don't look at me. I didn't think. But the woman turned around to her husband and said, honey, who are we voting for?
Exactly.
And the guy said, let them know we're voting for the end guy. I want y'all to digest that. And because I'm bringing that forward, okay? I'm bringing that forward. So Barack Obama goes ahead and he wins the election. I want you to remember everything that occurs at the transition between Republicanism and Democratic transition, between Bush, Obama, between Trump and the next one. It's always seemed like the Democrat elected when they have to clean up something, right? But anyway, it turns out that that's what he said. Obama won the election. Hillary comes. Let's be clear here. Hillary still won the election. It's a crazy thing about the Electoral College. All of you know about that, why she didn't win, etc. But she won by 3 million votes. Here comes Kamala. Kamala is running after Biden. And Kamala gets the third most votes ever gotten in American history. And still lost the election by 1.5 points. What was the difference between Obama, Kamala, and yes? So 19 million people didn't vote. That is correct. But there's another thing about the economy. Remember what it was supposed to be, right? Remember that stuff called the price of eggs? Oh, yeah. The price of eggs. That did her in, right? Did that do Kamala in? The price of eggs, the economy did her in? That's what everybody said, the price of eggs. Because nobody wanted to confront the truth about why she lost. She lost because, 1, she's a woman. 2, because she's black and Asian. And 3, because she's a progressive. The reason I brought those 3 up, if the economy was bad, there's a better chance that Kamala would have won. Think about that. They made it the economy that was the issue, but if the economy was bad, this guy said, I will vote for the end because of my personal economy. Nobody had to worry about their personal economy. They knew the truth. But what the news tell us all of the times is that, well, it was the economy, because nobody wants to tell the truth. So let's come to the present. And this is the part that I really want to get to. Right now that we have Donald Trump in power, listen, Donald Trump understands America better than anybody else. Okay? Because what Donald Trump understands is this. What is the 3 letters that everybody's talking about right now? The letter DEI. DEI. Why do you think he's using DEI? But the thing about it is, it's not, he's using DEI not for the racists. He's using DEI for those people that are scared.
Right.
Okay? DEI is not for the racists. DEI is for the scared folks. Because I'll tell you what, when times get hard, whenever times get hard, everybody looking for the boogeyman. And if I am the one losing the job, I want to find that boogeyman. And the boogeyman can be the Mexican, the black man, the boogeyman can be anything. So what it's trying to do is put white people in fear. They want you to be fearful. They want you to look at me and say, oh my God, that big black dude, I am scared of him. That's what they want to do. When I come to you guys, that is where all of you come in. Because the only way to fight this is for other people who look like you to realize that you know better than they do. Okay? It is going forward for us to win this battle. You know, remember when the question used to be, who is a swing voter or who is the voter that makes a difference? I want to tell you something, white women, the real swing voter is you guys. Okay, and by the way, let me just tell you first of all, if you're everybody listening to me, I think one of the stupidest things on the planet is race. But we live in a racialized society. So I got to get and talk about that stupid issue. That is the most silly subject to talk about. But that said, I think it's important for us going forward. And this is specifically to white women and also white guys. The only way we're going to get this country back is the sensible folk go out there and talk to people who have your interest. People who you can talk to. If I go into certain spaces, I can't say certain things in certain spaces. But you can. You can. And you may think all these people are crazy, but remember peer pressure. Peer pressure works. Peer pressure works. And Donald Trump, what he's doing right now is not a fake. Look, Latinos. I'm a black Latino. Latinos and all the other folks, Jamaicans, Caribbeans, all these folks. You know what's the secret about these folks? These folks know about pain. They can live pain. But most Americans don't live in that frame. Okay? So what is important for folks to do is to realize that what Trump is doing right now is going to affect MAGA more than anybody else.
Yeah.
Because all of you guys in here are much more well off, every single one of you, than the average MAGA. All of you. And the fact of the matter is, when his stuff starts to hurt them, that is the open door for all of them. Exactly. That is the door that we have to wait for. You can't be there to say, I told you so. You have to be there giving them a place to land. Okay. You have to be there giving them a place to land. And that place to land is what's going to make the difference. A lot of people are worried about, is the country over? Hey, there's the Red Scare. I didn't live the Red Scare. Too young for the Red Scare. But the Red Scare, I can imagine how those people felt. A lot of the feelings are making me feel now. So bottom line, and I'm going to close, and it goes as follows. The country is still in our hands. It's just temporarily ceded to those who got lucky. I'm serious as a heart attack. We've simply ceded the country temporarily. But we are the ones on the right side of history. We are the ones that are moral. We are the ones who care about people. We are the ones who care about humanity. And don't let anybody take that away from us. And don't feel bad about that. Feel encouraged about that. And with that, muchísimas gracias.
We
spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to.
Okay, that's what I discussed with our folks at the King Whittier Democrats on sometime last week. And, it's interesting. The president of the group sent me a note today that said, hey, one of those folks that were listening to you last night, they called and said, I can sleep at night now. I feel a lot better. I feel more encouraged, more pumped up to do what we need to get done. Because again, that's what it's going to take. We just have a lot of work to do. We have work that we hadn't done. We got to go ahead and get it done no matter what. And you know what? Like I mentioned in the beginning of the talk, we have to stay engaged. We have to stay in the game. We cannot cede anything to those folks. Again, these folks are not doing anything positive for America. We have to understand that. These guys are, and I am not saying this, these are not fortuitous words. Donald Trump and Elon Musk are the instantiation of evil. If you listen to Donald Trump talk about Gaza, if you listen to him talk about the ethnic cleansing he wants to do in Gaza, to own Gaza and build the Middle Eastern Riviera, that's evil. If you look at what Musk is doing with Doge and the USAID, where a lot of people are getting hurt around the world, where people will die from not having the disease control, etc. That's not just bad. That's not just bad management. That is evil. And I mean it by definition, evil. Those two men are men with zero character, zero morals. They are evil, and we have to see them for what they are. We're not supposed to use the big H when we're talking about these guys, but they are evil in the order of the big H. And I won't say the word, but you guys know exactly what I mean by the big H from Europe. They, in many instances, because of the way things work, could actually be considered worse. So let's be clear here, my dear brothers and sisters. These guys are evil. And, one of the women asked a question about Musk. I want to play that right now, and then we'll take it on the other side because it was prescient, and I hope you see why I answered it the way I answered it. Here it is.
Tell me about Elon Musk and how you feel about the whole scenario.
Okay, here's how I feel about Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a billionaire, okay, that is going to destroy government. Look, the idea is this: they want to disrupt government so badly that only folks in the private sector, vis-a-vis billionaires, can come in and clean up the mess. So the idea is to destroy government and then have the private sector come in. I did a piece today on KPFT where I pointed out, stop believing the lie that they tell you that the private sector is more efficient. There's a place for the private sector and there's a place for government. We need them both. As far as Elon Musk specifically speaking now, we have to stop blaming Elon Musk and blame Donald Trump. Yeah, because if we blame Elon Musk, what's going to happen is Elon Musk is going to take the blame, and when it's time to dump him for the destruction, he would have destroyed government, and Trump would have said he destroyed government.
Yeah, I mean, exactly what you got.
Okay, so we need to get off of Elon Musk, and we need to it's Donald Trump who is the head of this country right now.
Yes.
And that is what we got to remember. The entire country is under the responsibility of Donald Trump. Everything bad that happens, it's Donald Trump. Musk is working under the auspices of Donald Trump. It doesn't matter which one of them are in command. It's under the Trump administration. We have to remember that. Welcome aboard. Lee Grant is in the house. Welcome aboard, Lee. Great to see you here, my brother. Anybody else come in that I missed? Joe from California. Joe, I just saw that you called. I tried to answer and put on hold. If you want to call back, please feel free to do so. Anyway, folks, we have to understand these concepts. I have one more 10-minute video to do that I did this morning, but beforehand, let me go ahead and see if there's anything that I need to read from the chat that is actually fact-based or of interest to all. But of course, I'm not going to be reading propaganda. I'm not going to be reading batshit crazy stuff. And I'm not going to be reading regurgitation of misinformation. I don't do that. Lee Grant says, sound like it's Trump and Musk derangement syndrome. Yeah, brother. What else have we got here? Okay. Before I have another video to play, anybody wants to call, please do so now. The number is 281-823-7747. I got to remember that the morning number is different than the afternoon number. The number is 281-823-7747. Again, that number is 281-823-7747. I'll leave it open for about 5 minutes before I go to the next video. Hello, Steigenbergen Creek says, yes, all the blame goes to Trump. Exactly. Very important that we do so. I mean, I read to folks today that what is also occurring in Trump land is that the judiciary is starting to assert their authority over Donald Trump, as they should. It's not over Donald Trump, over the acts of Donald Trump that are not legal. What we have to wait for is to determine if Donald Trump is going to follow the Constitution that says he is supposed to. The Constitution, first of all, there are three branches of government. Let's go to Ray Brackens, and then I'll come back to that. All right, brother Ray Brackens, I think you are on air right now. How you doing, sir?
Top of the afternoon to you, sir. I wanted to piggyback off of what you said about the judiciary. So, as I've been, evaluating this Charlie Foxtrot, if you can understand that coded language of a situation that we're in this country currently. I was wondering, what was going to be the end game. And, to my delight, I woke up to a headline on my phone that said, a Trump appointed judge said, first of all, stop blocking these funds and stop going against my rulings. Now, what we know now is J.D. Vance has already said that they're willing to buck the system and said that judges don't get to make the decision about what the executive does.
Right.
I beg to differ, because at that point, you have crossed the line and you are now officially lawless.
You're absolutely right. Let me tell you better, Ray. At that point, here's the thing. The judiciary doesn't have an army. They don't have an army, a police force. That is supposedly the executive, but the executive is supposed to follow what the judiciary rules. That is a constitutional government. In other words, Congress makes the laws. The executive, meaning the president's branch, executes the laws generated by Congress. And if there is a misunderstanding between what the law says and what the president wants to do, the arbiter of that is the judiciary. And if there's an issue with the judiciary, the president and the Congress can impeach the judiciary, just like the Congress and the judiciary can impeach the president, and of course, any individuals within the Congress can be impeached with the appropriate number of people. So these are the things known as checks and balances. And what Donald Trump is trying to do is create a constitutional crisis, because the Constitution has a defect. And here is the defect. There should have been a police force for the judiciary that has the legal right to work, again, since they're the ones interpreting it, that has the legal right to arrest the president outside of the political realm, but within the law realm. Because the only option that you have for a president that disobeys the law is impeachment through the Congress. Only thing they can do is impeach through the Congress. And we all know now that that's not going to happen. Anything else, Ray?
Yeah, well, you pretty much hit the nail on the head that, like I said, it's still lawless. And at that
Yes.
point, they've admitted that they're willing to go to the level of criminality to get their agenda, passed forward. And I just know that I'll just say I'm gonna use my black voice for that. Keep on with that BS now. Keep on, you hear? And you gonna F around and find out.
There you
what
go.
The people,
and I
what
think
the people is gonna do about it.
And like I said, all the things that they're doing are going to hurt. It will hurt it'll hurt MAGA before it hurts many others. And the one thing I expect is when MAGA gets hurt, it's going to be quite interesting. We got Bridge MCP on the line as well. Let's patch Bridge in. And Bridge, are you there? Bridge, Are you there? All right. Talk to us, Bridge.
Yes, I'm here. And I don't even have to. You just go look at my post, what J. Ray's talking about. The SCOTUS just came out and agreed that they can't do it.
All right, let's go to Bridge. Bridge says, Egberto, since JD said judges can't overrule Rump, LOL, SCOTUS disagrees. In a year-end report, Chief Justice defends judiciary's independence. I remember when you wrote that paper, and he almost, Bridge, it almost seems like he wrote that paper expecting this behavior, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. He went back into the 50s and 60s and went through all of that, if you read the article, and just realized, they have judiciary, big word,
yes.
Overrule. You can't, they're doing the right thing, and they're not going to overrule them.
Right. There you go. So, so if they go ahead and continue disregarding the judiciary, their legal recourse, or not the legal, the political recourse is supposed to be impeachment. Lee the Bearcat says, what did he say? He says, impeachment talk again, probably not happening. You're right. It's not going to happen because of who runs the House right now. But again, it's what the constitutional thing should have been. Bridge also says, Egberto, let's see, I had another post that you put in there, Bridge, I think, talking about JD and taxes, right?
Just that. I talked about Musk and taxes. He hasn't
Musk and taxes. Musk had not paid taxes corporate in 4 years. How about look there? Also, why use programmers to look for fraud rather than accountants? Well, here's what I think they're doing, Bridge. And since they're not transparent, we have to make assumptions, right? Let me tell you what a lot of companies are doing. A lot of companies are doing things like this. He probably has a small staff, but I don't know if people realize how powerful AI is. It makes a lot of mistakes, but it's powerful and can break a lot of things down. They can go ahead and give particular commands to an AI chat box and feed that box with a whole lot of governmental information from laws and all kinds of bills, and have that thing come out with ideas that have no humanity in it to shut this down and shut that down. And I can almost guarantee you that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing.
Just because they have oversight and they're going to send somebody in, a forensic specialist, to look. We're both programmers. We know damn well the first thing they did was copied all that information onto
all the data. Yes.
Exactly. They have it. They have it.
And then they just run AI on it, Bridge. They have that data set in there, and they just have to. They don't need access anymore. And what I found funny, right? Here's the thing that was so funny, Bridge. You're a computer expert as well. They said, they have read access only. What is so preposterous with that statement is it's okay for them to have read access only, because if you're copying something, that's all you need, read access. And then you can do all the analytics on another server.
I know.
They think you're stupid.
I know. And, in the group that I run of 38,000 people, and I'm in another group with 180,000 people, and there's two things. I'm a computer programmer, and we used to do AI, 20 years ago we started that crap. But one of my friends, who's admin, is a judge. Well, she's retired now. So she explains all the legalities to us, and I explain all the technical stuff. So it goes back and forth that we both got, know what we're doing. As far as what's going on with the judges and everything else. She'll explain what every ruling means and all that crap. And then I explain the technical part of it to people because they don't understand it. But what they're doing is so illegal and so preposterous. And it is scary. It is scary what they're doing. I mean, they took away the federal bank thing where you can't get the federal protection. They're taking that down. Was bought the project.
Oh, the CFPB, the CFPB.
Yeah, right. And he just took over. He's the head now. I mean, all of this is just dismantling our government, ignoring the Constitution, and then you have this fake accountant out there called Eric Hayes, who has no clue what he's talking about. I don't even know how. I would never go to him. I mean, I used TurboTax before I'd use him.
Oh, well, that's how I do my taxes, TurboTax. I do everything on TurboTax.
It's just easier. It's just easier.
But, but you're right. You're right. I mean, Eric is not using his mind. He's just, at this point, being a paste and copy guy. Just a paste and copy guy. So, I mean, that's all he is. Again, he's a friend, but he's just a paste and copy guy. So, I mean, I want critical thinking. Like that. Yeah. Well, I need a GoFundMe. Thank you, sis. You have a good one. I have one more video I want to play, and then we'll close up at 51. So let's go ahead and play this video, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Disconnected the line.
All right, let's go ahead and play that video, and we'll move on. Here is one I did this morning. It is easy to feel fatalistic. It is easy to sit back and believe that all things are over. America has gone through these things many times before. You have to realize that democracy and all these things, it's not something that you win and then you just sit back. In fact, one of the problems we had when Obama won is that we won, we felt good, we sat back. You got Biden winning, you win, you sit back. And when you sit back, all those evil forces who only believe in capital, they get a chance to grow again. And that is what you have to remember. Now, you may sit back and think, well, everybody is on Trump's bandwagon or his side. No, they're not. No, they're not. The things are starting to fall. This morning I woke up and I did my perusing of the news as I usually do and find out now that farmers, because of all these shutdowns and stopping of paying bills, etc., farmers who were promised by the government that after they've made these additions to their farms, they would get offset with subsidies, etc., because, that's what the bills that were passed under Biden said. Donald Trump just stopped it. So he screwed a whole lot of farmers. Specifically, farmers reported missing millions of dollars of funding they were promised by the U.S. Agriculture Department, despite promises from the Trump administration that a federal funding freeze would not apply to projects directly benefiting individuals. He's only been there 2.5 or 3 weeks. And already, people that are naturally his constituents, I don't know why they are, but culturally, they think that they're supposed to support guys like him. And they are already feeling the pain of his actions. That only grows more and more because the reality is the people that supports Trump is there for a very few, but he needs to use a few people to get him there. So given that he knows how to lie unabashedly, he does it. get the support of those people, knowing that he's only going to be there for a while. Why he wants to rush and get all his things done in the first 6 months is, you know why? Because after he gets it done, which is a master screwing of most Americans, he doesn't have to worry anymore. The job would have been done. So what else is he doing? There's this stuff called the CFPB, right? The CFPB stands for the Consumer Protection Bureau. Okay, this is the organization that makes sure that if your credit card bills you and you think they've doing you wrong and you complain to them and they say, we don't care, you just pay the bill or we're going to mess your credit report up. You have a governmental body that can arbitrate that issue, right? That government entity, since its creation just during the Obama administration, has gotten back over $21 billion in fraudulent charges corporations have done to the American people. $21 billion of stolen money that had to be returned because of the CFPB. I consider that a hell of a return and investment for a government body that actually works for you. Now, Donald Trump for the OMB secretary, he went ahead and appointed Russell Vought. Russell Vought is a guy who believes the executive has unlimited power. Okay, that's what I believe. And the first thing that he did is put those 1,700 employees that are actually successful in their jobs on hiatus. Stop your work. Stop defending the American people. The CFPB isn't there for Democrats. The CFPB isn't there for Republicans. The CFPB isn't there for just these few people. The CFPB is there for all aggrieved Americans who are screwed as consumers by a bunch of companies who just do what they do best, parasitically steal from them. Your credit card company charging you 28% interest, 30% interest, when they can get money from the government at 4, 5, 6% interest. But they stick you with these ridiculous claims of these types of bills, right? That's what it's there for. And what did he do? Shut it down. Earlier, you heard Howard talking about Elon Musk going into Treasury, going into all these other companies, right? And what are they doing? They are just taking data. We were concerned about TikTok. I was never concerned about TikTok, but our government, both Democrats and Republicans, well, I should say neoliberal Democrats and Republicans alike, we're concerned about your data. And one of the things I've always said is TikTok doesn't need to take your data from you. There are a lot of capitalists all over America ready to sell your data. Zuckerberg has proved that. Zuckerberg, all these guys have your data, and it's all for sale. China doesn't have to come in and say, I need to put a TikTok into America to get America data. But that is what they know. That is what these politicians would like you to believe in order to usurp another market. But now Musk is in there. So having Musk in your treasury, knowing all your information, tax and otherwise, they know everything about you. At first, these were insular agencies that kept your data. Now, a bunch of 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24-year-olds, along with Master Musk, they have command of your data. Remember, Less than 50% of Americans voted for Trump. Less than 20% of the entire American population voted for Trump. But they have your data and they can do whatever they want with it, right? And we were concerned about China. I'm more concerned about Musk, who has a great relationship with China. China could blackmail Musk. I'll shut your billion-dollar factories down in China, lest you give me all that data you collected from America. Have you ever thought about that? Oh, Musk won't do that. You think so? Musk is a apartheid-believing South African, naturalized American, who was originally, according to his brother, an illegal alien. I notice I'm using illegal alien for him just for impetus. Folks, we have to get real. Now, like I told my brothers and sisters, my Kingwood area Democrats, I said, be ready not to tell somebody I told you so, but to give folks a place to land. Because Americans, a lot of Americans are going to need a place to land when they finally find out that they've been had. There is so much lying that can go uncontested. And eventually Americans are going to realize, oh my God, look at what we've done. We've given the keys to this guy who has taken it all. And now we are not getting paid. And now to give more to the rich just to take where it comes from us. And you know, most of the us's that it's coming from are the ones who voted for him. So folks, let's wake up. Let's get smart.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor, please.
All right, folks, we are back. I was kind of typing a few things as I was playing the video. Anyway, we are at 51 right now. Anybody wants to call in to make any statements? 281-823-7747, 281-823-7747. Feel free to give me a call. Now, it is important for us to not get despaired. It is important for us to going forward to simply understand that we are in command. Paul Fleming says from the Washington Post, farmers report missing millions of dollars of funding they were promised by the U.S. Agriculture Department, despite promises from the Trump administration that a federal funding freeze would not apply to projects directly benefiting individuals. That's what I mentioned in the piece that I just did. Let's see what else we got here. We also have from E2247, U.S. Stratcom Commander General Anthony Cotton recently stated that the implementation of artificial intelligence makes U.S. nuclear command, control, and communications more resilient to adversaries and strengthens deterrence. I am not willing to go on that bandwagon yet because, again, remember, we don't quite, even for the guys who program AI, the logic behind the decision making isn't necessarily all up to speed, and we don't know. So I don't know where that's coming from. China has tariffs of 10 to 15% applied to crude oil and liquefied. The tariffs from China range from 10 to 15% and are applied to crude oil, liquefied natural gas, farm machinery, and select other products from the U.S. Ha ha ha! We're gonna learn quite a few pretty darn soon. All right, what else have I got here? New from Fleming. Arizona AG Chris Mayers joined 21 attorneys general in suing the Trump administration, the Department of Health and Human Services, and the National Institute of Health for cutting medical and public health research funds, her office says. No surprise. All right, I had something else that I meant to say, but I Didn't write it down and I can't remember, but according to Paul Fleming, David Fatohi, Trump's number 2 at EPA pick, recently challenged the agency ban of asbestos, which causes a deadly cancer called mesothelioma. He argued the EPA failed to demonstrate the chrysotile asbestos presents an unreasonable risk of injury. That is what we have to deal with, folks. That is what we have to deal with. Who is Nasus? Welcome aboard, Nasus. I haven't seen you before. EU here don't want to support the billionaire club. I can't blame them. Why would they want to do that? All right, break-in. This is disconcerting. Break-in. US reports 5.012 million new COVID-19 cases in a single week, with 716,000 daily infections. Currently, 1 in every 67 Americans is infected with COVID-19. The transmission rates are now higher than at any point during 61% of the pandemic. What that also means is maybe that's the reason why Donald Trump is trying to control the messaging coming from the CDC, because he doesn't want it to show that as soon as he got into power, the infection rate zoomed up. What I would love to know, Brother Fleming, is what's the distribution of said infections. Do we have clusters or is it just widespread? I would love to know that, to see if we sort of have it in red clusters or is it widespread. That would be informative. What else have we got here from Paul Fleming? NPR Republicans' proposal to change the public health insurance program for low income and disabled Americans could amount to more than 2 trillion cuts over the decade. That's 200 million. That's about a third. I think right now they spend 600 billion, right? How much is spent on Medicaid? But that is murder, because that's exactly what it would stand for, murder. And I don't say that grudgingly, or I don't say that, I mean it when I say that is tantamount to murder. All right, what else have we got here? Last night's Super Bowl was such a DEI Super Bowl. The NFL may have folded on the end racism thing, but they gave us a night with Brad Pitt giving a pro-DEI message before the game, an HBCU band, a black artist, and a black choir singing the Black National Anthem, plus a black ASL interpreter, 2 black musicians playing America the Beautiful, John Batiste singing the national anthem and repeating Land of the Free 3 times, plus a Latina ASL interpreter. The head referee was black. Boy, Trump's head must have been exploding, huh? I didn't go on MAGA TikTok or MAGA Twitter to see, or MAGA X, whichever one you want to call it. I didn't go on that to see what if their heads were exploding, but my hunch would be that they have. Let's see. Joe says they prohibited the data of where is the spread. Oh, that's sad. I wonder why would they? You know why they do that, right, Joe? They don't want to tell folks where it's at for a particular reason. All right, we're at 57 right now. It's time for my ask. I'd like to ask those of you who are watching the program to please support the program. And how can you support the program? You can support the program by becoming subscribers to our you can become subscribers to our newsletter. And how to do that, go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter and become a paid subscriber. Paid subscriber, it costs you a coffee. And with that, you help what we're doing. We need about 1,000, 1,200 more or so paid subscribers, so that we can get a couple of part-timers to help with all the work that I currently do by my lonesome. I'm far behind, and to sort of be able to get a lot more done. I hope you guys see the amount of work that we do. It's not just this platform, but it's a lot of different platforms we work on, moving things. If you want to see some of that work, you can see all what we do at politicsdoneright.com/info. Take a look at that if you can see all the work that we do, which is a hell of a lot, folks. And but again, to become supporters, you can become a patron or subscribe to our newsletter. The Patreon address is at politicsdoneright.com/patron, politicsdoneright.com/patron. Or, like I said, become a paid subscriber of our newsletter, and that is politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. We can't tell the truth without your help. We can't saturate the internet with the progressive message without your help. We are in a battle with deep pockets. The thing about it is, those of us on the progressive end work for cheap. We don't require deep pockets like they pay Candace Owen. Let me tell you something. We've been offered many times, not recently in the last few months. However, I guess they got the message. But if we were just to turn to the right and become a right-wing engine, we could actually, politics done right would be loaded. But this is about morals. This is about humanity. This is about ethics. This is about truth. This is about honesty. So folks, please support us. Please allow us to continue doing what we do, which is saturate the internet with all this stuff that we're doing. Again, I'll put the link in the chat, and that is politicsdoneright.com/newsletter to become a paid subscriber. Politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. We can't do it without you. And do remember, paid subscribers get quite a few benefits. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Egberto.substack.com. Those of you that become paid subscribers need to get that on the screen. Bear with me 1 second. There we go. I think that's on the screen now. Those of you who become what is that there? Oh, wow. I didn't know. It seems like Substack has made a change. I didn't even know that. Substack now puts your video on the top while it's live. Oh, that is a change. Anyway, this is what your Substack, once you become a subscriber, you get access to things like our books. All our books are there for you to read online, free of charge, by becoming a paid subscriber to our network. You also get access to all our podcasts. There is all our podcasts that you can see right there. All of them, both from KPFT and here online. Those become available to you as well. And then we give you right there. All of them, both from we give you a lot of other perks as well. So please, please, please consider becoming paid subscribers of our Substack. It's not just our newsletter you get, but you get a lot more. And we're just doing that to try to give some value to you becoming a paid subscriber. I got to get out of here. I got a meeting that I got to leave to the other side of town. My name is first of all, love you all. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what?
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.